The road at night is a lonely place. For a long-haul trucker like Ray Dalton, it's a world of endless asphalt, the hum of the engine, and the hypnotic dance of white lines under his headlights. But on one particular night, cutting through a desolate stretch of highway, something broke the monotony. Standing there, caught in the cone of light from his rig, was a lone hitchhiker. Everything about the man was wrong. His clothes seemed to be from another decade, his skin was a ghostly pale, and his eyes, they were fixed on Ray with a hollow, unnerving intensity. Every instinct screamed at Ray to keep driving, to push the pedal to the floor and leave that strange figure behind in the darkness. But a trucker's code, or maybe something else, something he couldn't name, made him slow down. The hiss of the air brakes was the only sound as the massive truck came to a stop. Without a word, Ray gestured, and the man climbed into the cab. The cold that came with him was more than just the night air. He sat there, a silent spectre in the passenger seat. When he finally spoke, his voice was a dry rasp, speaking in cryptic fragments. He talked about betrayal, about unfinished business. He said, the road always brings the truth back around. A chill that had nothing to do with the weather snaked down Ray's spine. A few miles later, Ray pulled over to check his tires, a routine stop he'd made 1,000 times. He was out of the cab for no more than a minute. When he climbed back in, the passenger seat was empty. The door hadn't opened. There were no footsteps in the dust beside the road. The hitchhiker had simply vanished. Gone, shaken, Ray pushed on, the man's strange words echoing in his head. He tried to rationalize it. Maybe he was just tired, seeing things. The road plays tricks on you after enough hours. He reached the next town, a tiny speck of light in the vast emptiness, and stumbled into the 24-hour diner, needing coffee, needing a human face. He found himself telling the story to the weary-eyed waitress who refilled his cup. He described the man, the outdated clothes, the pale skin, the intense, hollow eyes. As he spoke, the color drained from her face. She set the coffee pot down with a trembling hand. The man he described, she told him, died years ago. On that same stretch of road, a hit and run. The driver was never found. Ray left the diner with his heart pounding against his ribs. It was a ghost. He had picked up a ghost. He tried to laugh it off, a spooky local legend, but the fear was a cold knot in his stomach. As he continued his route, the strangeness escalated. Phantom lights flickered in his side mirrors, like another vehicle was right behind him, only to disappear when he looked again. The wind howling past his cab seemed to whisper his name, carrying warnings he couldn't quite decipher. Then came the visions, flashes of an accident, replaying in his mind with impossible, sickening detail, the screech of tires, the shattering of glass, the thud of impact. He saw it all through the eyes of the driver. He felt the panic, the fear, the cowardly decision to flee. He was seeing the hit and run. The terrifying realization began to dawn on him. The ghost wasn't just haunting the highway. He wasn't just some lost soul looking for a ride. He was attached to something. He was attached to someone. He was haunting Ray. The spirit hadn't returned for a ride home. He had returned for justice. And as the ghostly whispers grew clearer and the visions became more vivid, fragments of a memory, long buried and locked away, began to surface in Ray's own mind. A younger Ray, a different truck, a dark, rain-slicked night, a terrible mistake, a panicked escape. The road always brings the truth back around. The hitchhiker's words were no longer a cryptic warning, they were a promise. a promise from beyond the grave. Ray wasn't just a random trucker who happened to pick up a ghost. He was the reason the ghost was there in the first place. The unfinished business was his own. The betrayal was his own. He wasn't just the driver of this truck. He was the driver of that truck, all those years ago. And now, his passenger had come to collect a debt that was long overdue. A debt that could only be paid in the currency of truth and consequence, out here on the lonely, unforgiving road. The journey was far from over, but now Ray knew he wasn't driving toward a destination. He was driving toward a reckoning. And if tonight's story left a chill lingering in the room, you're not alone. The dark remembers every tale we tell, every whisper shared in the dead of night. Sometimes, the most terrifying monsters are the ones we can't see, the ones that hide in the quiet corners of our own minds. But remember, even in the deepest darkness, you are never truly by yourself. There are always others who understand that fear. If you enjoyed tonight's journey into the shadows, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who appreciates a good scare. It helps more than you know. Join me next time for another story that waits just beyond the light. Until then, stay curious, stay cautious, and remember, some shadows follow longer than others. Sleep well, if you can.